A private company, Serco, who was given huge amounts of money by the government, partnering up with Deloitte, an accountancy firm, and managing consultants who are literally getting paid up to £7,000 a day, are taking ludicrous, incredible profit, creaming off the pandemic pound, paying it to themselves and purring all the way to the bank. The public health crisis that Britain faces is like nothing in our lifetime.
When you're talking about explosive pandemics that spread rapidly, this is the worst that we've seen in 102 years.
It's a monumental balls up, and at the heart of everything is a single unifying theory that the private sector can do everything more efficiently than the public sector.
The United Kingdom spends 9.8% of its GDP on healthcare, while the US spends 16.9%. Despite spending less, the United Kingdom manages to have healthier citizens who live longer, and in 2017, life expectancy in the UK was 2.7 years higher than in the US.
The Tories have ideologically always wanted the privatisation of public services.
Since the Health and Social Care Act of 2012, something like £15 billion worth of NHS money went to private healthcare contractors, which opened the floodgates to privatisation.
Profit for profit's sake is at the core of all of these fundamental ideological positions. Positions that say that there is nothing that the public sector can do more efficiently than the private sector. Meanwhile, this government has been involved in the largest scale of profiteering and corruption that I have seen ever take place, especially given the fact that we're in the midst of a national crisis.
Under Boris Johnson and under many other governments of that stamp, the Treasury becomes a giant kitty for their chums.
Test and trace, millions of pounds spent. Serco, giving out contracts without any experience of running it. Run by a guy who is literally Winston Churchill's lockdown-breaking grandson. And whilst millions and millions of pounds are siphoned off into private hands, the public purse suffers. The NHS is crippled by the realities of the fact that test and trace is not working. Every country that has successfully dealt with the virus has had test and trace at the absolute forefront. The government have also said that they can't afford to give nurses a 15% pay rise. They can't afford to help up freelancers in Manchester and Liverpool, taxi drivers, and people who are going to be terribly affected by the local lockdowns. Marcus Rashford, a footballer who decided to, in the summer, push for the government to give free school meals, and for which he was awarded an MBE, which is kind of funny when you think that the government are awarding Marcus Rashford an MBE for basically telling them, stop being such stingy and feed our kids, you lazy, horrible toad-like. But Marcus Rashford is in the news again. He pushed very hard for kids to have free school meals over Christmas, and the government said no. We gave up a lot because of the lockdowns. We gave up our liberty, our friendships, people missed funerals, weddings were cancelled. Huge public suffering has taken place. And why? In order to give the government enough time to set up test and trace. So what did they do? Well, they made sure that literally zero capacity was used within the NHS. They gave huge contracts to private companies who promised to deliver. But time and time again, not only did they not deliver, but they literally put us bottom of global league tables. What went wrong and what didn't you do? And the answer comes down to the same thing again and again, the profit motive. I'm Jolyon Rubinstein, and this is depressing.